Okay, wow. This has internet has not been great today. We are back on. Thanks for joining back in. I'm hoping this internet is going to be this time. So we're just waiting. Hopefully this works now. I think we have liftoff.
It's fine.
Yay. Okay.
Hello.
Finally, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm
Finally.
sorry about that earlier.
Yeah, well, I had to switch internet as well. I had to
Same
switch
here.
my internet provider as well.
Yeah. This part of our realities of what makes our online learning difficult at this time is that internet is a big issue. I
Yeah.
was talking to somebody who told me that he has 9 different internet providers.
Oh my
9.
word.
And I said, wow. But
That's
for
an
him, he said that was the only way to be sure. But he said the kind of work he does, he can't afford for internet to fail. So he had that many. Yes.
I can
So,
imagine.
but welcome. Yes.
I'm
Let
glad
me
to be
introduce
here.
you.
Okay.
Let me introduce you and then we'll get started.
All right.
You know. So thank you so much everybody who has tuned in. You know, we had to end the live and come back to make internet work for us, and that's part of what is our reality of the infrastructure challenges that we have in Nigeria between light and poor internet connectivity. Online learning is definitely you know, something that we struggle with. So welcome, Mrs. Oluwadamilola. She's the principal of Corona Secondary School Agbara.
Agbara. Yes.
And you have many years of experience in the educational space. I was reading up on your profile and it was very interesting. And I loved how in the profile I read, it said you didn't start out thinking you would be a teacher. Yeah. And
so many of
many
us
decades
are
later.
Yeah, so many of us like that.
So just introduce us based on, you know, who you are, education, being a teacher, being the head of school, and then we'll jump into the topic of today, which is really around how to make sure online learning is effective.
All right. Thank you very much, Yetty. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. My name is Yetty Oluwadamilola. I like to emphasize that Oluwadamilola is my surname because in this part of the world is usually a first name. So I'm Yetty Oluwadamilola. I'm a teacher. I didn't start out, like Yetty said, being I didn't study at first to be a teacher. So out of the many qualifications that I have been privileged to have, the very first one, my first degree, wasn't in education. But then I have gone on over the years to have other qualifications in education. I've worked in this education industry. This is my 27th year, and I have worked in secondary school, the primary schools, had at some point to oversee nursery school and junior primary. And I also have opportunity of having worked and still work with some bit of tertiary education, also in the area of education. So currently I'm the principal of Corona Secondary School Agbara, and which is one of the schools owned and run by Corona Schools Trust Council, an organization that has the pedigree of having been in existence in this part of the world for 65 years. So
wow.
I'm here to talk about a few things. I hope I'll be able to share the little bit that I know. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for that introduction. And I'm going to give a little, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a Corona alumni myself.
Yeah, I know, Yetty. I know. The first time we met, you told me.
Yes. So I went to Corona Nursery Ikoyi, and I went to Corona Primary School Ikoyi. So that was yes. So I'm a Corona fan and alumni and lover. So awesome. So we're going to jump in now and just help our audience, a lot of people have reached out to me about this particular topic, saying that they are very interested in it. Number one, online learning is a challenge. For such a long time at home, we're having to make it work ourselves. So the challenge is real. And some of the challenge comes from things we can't control, which is, you know, the internet. The internet is very unstable. So that really affects a child's learning. They're in class and the internet throws them off, or the teacher's internet freezes, so they can't follow through the class, you know, and that's definitely affecting them, assimilating the information. So what would be the first tip you would give parents to help a child who is in, our reality in Nigeria is that's the situation. So what do we do to ensure that our children are actually even taking in what they are meant to be taking in? What would your advice be on that first question?
Well, I'd like to say first and foremost that internet challenges, that is not peculiar to this country. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. I was listening to a series recently and even today on, you know, school in the next 12 months. And the series is a series of interviews of different people in the US. And one of the things that some of the panelists said was internet challenges. I mean, these are in different degrees. And one of the panelists mentioned something about where she lives, hilly side of that nation, and how they have fluctuations. So it's, okay. I mean, there are different degrees of these challenges, and I'd like us to know first and foremost that these challenges are not peculiar, and then we can find solutions to these challenges. Where this discussion, I would imagine, I know, we're concentrating on even those who have the ability, who have the opportunity of using the internet. So I think we need to make that clear. Those are the people we're referring to at this time. How do you now make it work? Now, if you have to make it work, first, you can't use one internet provider. I think that's a no-brainer. You cannot. Because my understanding at this point is that all the internet providers are overwhelmed. People are working from home. They are not just providing just for children. A lot of people are working from home. So there's a lot of demand. A lot of things have gone off, you know, face-to-face work to online work. So there's a lot of demand. So we shouldn't get frustrated. I mean, you quickly change your provider, and I changed mine, and here we are. So we need to first know that that's, you know, that is what we have to have. I can see somebody asking, what about children who do not? Please, for us to make things as beneficial as possible, we need to understand that we're discussing about those who have this opportunity. What are you going to do as a parent to ensure that your child is actually learning? Because it's one thing to sit in front of a system, it's another thing to get something out of it. So Yetty, do you want me to go ahead and just mention a few things, and then as the questions come, we'll treat?
Okay.
Hello?
So you froze a little bit. Yeah, so what I was saying was, indeed, I would like you to just take us through, you know, your guidelines. And I like how you made it very clear that this session specifically is about children who are already learning online. And we want to be sure that the learning is being effective. So as parents at home, we're not going to school every day. We can't see the teachers. We can't talk. We're not getting the notes in the notebook saying this is what your child did today. All of that has gone away. So for the foreseeable future, our children are going to be learning online. So what we want to get away from this conversation is, how do I as a parent ensure that my child is learning effectively? And what should that look like? What are some of the parameters we should have in the back of our mind? So if you can just take us through maybe 3 to 5 points, that would be lovely. And then we can take questions and answers afterwards.
And answers as they come. Okay, great. Yes. Now, first and foremost, and this is what I said to the parents of my school, first and foremost, you need to establish a structure. Okay. The fact that they are at home does not mean that they are on an extended holiday. We need to establish they are not on an extended holiday. They are not at a time when, okay, let's just manage the situation. No, we're at a time when you need to have a structure. The structure is in a couple of ways. The structure includes, when do they wake up? There has to be a structure as to when you go to bed, when you wake up, when you have your meals. The structure should include, where does the online learning take place? Should it be on your bed, on the dining table, or somewhere at the corner of the sitting room? One needs, and it has to be consistent. Learning, this is not, it's not a joke. We're just trying to keep ourselves busy. So a child reclines on a bed or lying down on the bed and opens the laptop. There's something about being ready for what you want to do. And there's something it does to your psyche. So parents, number one thing is have a structure. I do not think there's any online, any school providing an online service at this time that will say, oh, classes or lessons start at 7. It's usually a bit, maybe 8 o'clock. So between 6 o'clock and that time, the child should get up, wake up, have real structure. When do they wake up? When do they go to bed? Should they have breakfast before the classes start? Where should the child sit? Should it be on, if your child is going to sit at home, in his room or her room, it cannot be on a bed. It should be on a table. If you can afford it, please, the dining table may not be the best place. Especially for some of us on our dining tables, we have things that a child can nibble on, or some breakfast things, or some cereal, and the fridge is nearby. So that is very key. We should have a structure. Another key thing is, oh, we're at home, we're doing online learning, and then the child is in his nightwear. Psychologically, the child is not ready. You see, my discussion and my focus this evening is not on the teachers, because this is a joint effort. That structure, as consistent as it is, should not only, it should include what should the child be wearing. So this child wakes up, when it's breakfast, dresses up. You don't need, some people have said they should they wear a uniform? I am neither for or against that. But it's not going to benefit anybody if your child is walking about in PJs at 10 o'clock in the morning and saying, I'm having a class. So something comfortable, something decent. So it's important. It's important to have that schedule of, okay, when is the class ending? When can a child have a break? You cannot get up and decide, okay, snack time and all that. So it's these are key things. When we talk about the things that we cannot have control over, I think we need to leave those ones. The ones we can have control over are these things. These are things we have to have control over. We can have control over, and we should ensure that we have control over those things. There's something else that I also, want parents to know. The fact that your child is doing an online class does not mean that that child should be facing a screen from morning till night. I tell you something, dear parents. I tell you something, if you allow your child to just sit in front of a system all day, 60-70% of the time, he or she is doing something else other than what he's supposed to be doing. So if you have maybe you're starting at 8 and ending at 12, and there's an in-between break, take a break of about 30 minutes, the child will be forced to just face those things and do what you need to do. And after that, you stop. After that, you go and do something else. After that, you go and there should be chores, there should be, things that the child should do. The child should walk about, but not sit in front of a screen. They sit in front of the screen all through, and they're busy chatting, they're busy doing other things, they're busy going to all kinds of sites. I know people will say, oh, I have firewalls for this, I have, blocked this. The children are smarter. They are smarter, and they are going to, I can tell you that. But restrict how long they stay in front of a screen. I have other things to mention, and that is, if it is possible, do not allow the children control the internet provision. Do not allow them.
Can you explain that? What do you mean by that? Can you explain that?
I would explain. It is better they use a hotspot that an adult controls.
Okay.
They should use a hotspot that an adult controls. This goes from whether they are 5-year-olds or they are 15-year-olds. So if you have that you're the one in control of their access, assuming, like I said, you start at 8 and you're going to have a break at maybe by 10, you turn it off. He has no access to the internet at that time. He should go on break. And then you turn it on again till about the time that, but they cannot be the ones in control. I've heard people say they are spending thousands, and you are going to spend that. Your internet will run, the data will run like water if they are in control.
Yeah.
Aside from other things you're going to be able to prevent. So the things I have mentioned now, the adults should be in control of the hotspot. There should be a structure that is adhered to completely. Wake up times, meal times, down times. They should dress up properly. No studying on the bed. No studying on the couch. Lounging on the couch. Those are no-nos. And at the end of every day, if you can, please find out what they learned. Please find out what they learned. You are investing so much, you're investing your resources, you're investing time, and it cannot be, how are your classes today? Fine. That's not an answer. That's not a question either. What subjects did you do? What, and so on. Those are some things that we can control as adults, and we should. There are other things that I would mention as we go along.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Just to summarize, what you said so far are very helpful. I like what you said. Create structure, control the internet from your end. And to that point, one of the things I did was to call our internet provider to ask them for the firewall. How can I turn off the internet at particular times so I can shut it off? Once it's off, they have to go and do something else.
Absolutely.
You also said they should either wear uniform or they should be smartly dressed. They cannot just be faffing around in their pajamas all day. It's going to affect how seriously they take the work. So and I also like what you said.
The uniform thing. I'll tell you a little joke. I always tell my students, I'm in the secondary school now. The primary school children do not really mind it. In a secondary school, sometimes when a child does something about the uniform, and I said to them, do you know that I wear a uniform? And they go, somebody, you don't wear uniforms. I said, I do. I wear uniforms. The things I wear to work are the things that I'm allowed to wear to work. And I'm using the words very, very carefully.
Right.
I know what I like to wear if I am not going to be at work. But they are not appropriate for work. They are not appropriate for my position. So I end up wearing a certain, set of kind of clothes that are appropriate for where I am. So I tell them that we all wear uniforms. And for those of you who ever come into school at a time when school is not in session, or you come in, you find that I'm wearing something totally different. So what do I mean by uniform? If it's just a pair of shorts and t-shirts, something, these are the things you'll be wearing when they don't need to dress up, if somebody feels, I know some parents who want their children to put on the school uniform. That's fine if that is what you want. But
Okay.
they have to wear certain things and they have to be decent. And even when you have life classes, I don't know, Yeti, should I talk
Yeah.
about that? Because that's also part of it. When you have life classes,
Yes.
which
One,
I know
one,
some people are
one second
providing.
before we go into that. Before we go
Okay.
into that next section, I wanted to also add one of the points you mentioned in the first section, which was the questions we ask them at the end of the day is very critical.
Very
And
critical.
it's important that we don't ask questions that give us a yes or a no and we haven't learned anything. So it's important we ask, what did you learn? What subjects, today I asked my daughter, I said, which class, first of all, I said, what classes did you have today? She said, I don't remember. Then she caught herself.
Whoa.
And realized that was not an adequate answer. I said, in one day, you don't remember. So she now told me everything. Then I pushed her. I said, which of these classes do you think you are learning as much as you would if you were in a classroom? Which ones do you think you are struggling to concentrate? And it just made her think and give me different perspectives. But if I had just asked, how was school today, I wouldn't have learned anything.
I mean, the answer would be fine.
Yes.
That's the answer to that. How was school?
Exactly.
Fine. Did you have all
and
your
we wouldn't have known anything.
You wouldn't have known it. Yeah.
Thank you.
We must
so please go ahead. You're going to...
So now talking about life classes, and that is, I mean, if you're a teacher here or you're just a parent or you're both, when your child is going to have a life class, number one rule, they must use the video.
Okay.
Number one rule, they must use the video. Let me tell you what happens if they are not using the video.
Why?
They join, turn off the video, and go off to something else.
Right.
And so you look at participants. Yeah, you have participants. That child's name is there, but the child isn't there. So you as a parent, if you're at home and your child is on an online, a live class, stroll and see. Your video must be on. Don't tell me, oh, the internet is poor. Oh, it was going off. Oh, if this and that happened. The video must be on. The audio may not be on because that may interfere with the teacher's, and then the teacher is talking to a whole lot of, a number of children at the same time. So you do not want the background interference. But the video, insist that your child's video must be on. And of course, when the video is on, the child isn't going to be scantily dressed or indecently dressed. So these are things that I'm emphasizing on, the things that we as parents can control.
Fantastic.
It's also important that as a parent, have an idea of the day's schedule.
Okay.
Are they going 3 subjects today? Are they having a science class? Are they going to have an English class? So ask, how was your science class? How was the history class? How was the English class? Have you done your... So the questions must be, like you just rightly summarized it, yet you don't ask questions that will give you a yes or no. You need questions And I understand that parents prefer that their children use audio. You know, when you use the video, you use more data. But you know, the live classes are usually not so long. You know, I mean, all through the day, they can't be having live classes. So we just need to sacrifice a little for that period so that the child is actually concentrated. The child is actually focused. Once the video is off, they do something else. Take that from me, I know.
That's a great point. Now in my children's school, sorry?
Yeah, go on. Go on, Yeti.
I was saying in my children's school, the teacher actually tells them that after the first 15 minutes, they can turn off the video. Good. And now you've gotten me. Now I'm actually thinking, you know what, you're right. Why is that? Because it's usually during that period I realized they're a little bit more relaxed because the video is off. So
Yes.
I'm going to go back now and ask them, why did they put that in place? Is it to help save the internet? I don't really know why, but I'm actually going to go and ask that question.
Okay. They would have their
Yes,
reason. I mean, if a teacher is doing that, I understand from a teacher's point of view. I mean, you want them to save on data and all. But the teacher, which is not what our concentration this evening is not on the teachers, but just to chip in, the teacher can also engage them by ensuring that they are asking questions that require the child to type in an answer and get the child to be engaged. But 15 minutes after, they can turn it off. But maybe after about 5-10 minutes, that's if it's going to be a long, I'm not sure that any life lesson should go longer than 1 hour. You know, it shouldn't even be up to an hour, you know. So, like, at least up to 80% of the time, their video should be on. Or they should be on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I like that. Now, in terms of the online learning, and the schools are, you know, obviously giving them classes, you know, they're doing the lessons online. How do we make sure? So what happens is a lot of children spend a lot of time online, and then when it comes to doing homework and all of that, the feedback that the children are getting now is not exactly what it was when they were in school. So as a parent at home, how do we try to match the homework they're having to do with the online learning? What would you advise us? What would you advise us to do there?
That's a good question, Yetty. You know what I said about the parent having an idea about what subject, you can't as a parent at this time, and this is quite a difficult period for everybody. But I know that we would all get a hang of it. It is, you see, when the children were in brick and mortar classrooms, a child walks into the class, hasn't done the homework, the teacher grabs the child. Now, the teacher isn't going to come to your house and grab that child. You are going to do that grabbing. And you cannot do that if you do not know. I mean, go to that site. It's not something you can do every day. If anybody says you should do that every day, that's not going to work. But maybe a couple of days, maybe every 2-3 days. These are the subjects you have done. You go to their VLE, you will see the work that has been given. You can even make your child have a reminder or a log of a source, and you know, write out. So you know, I have a homework in English. I had the homework on Tuesday. I'm supposed to turn it in on Wednesday, and the child just logs it, turned in or not. So you can check. You haven't turned in this, you haven't turned in that, or if the child didn't even log it and you have found out. I understand you were given an assignment in so and so subject in your chemistry class or your biology class. I can't see it in your log. The truth of the matter is, dear parents, we have to do a lot. A lot of these things the schools had to take on. But the situation is such that no one is going to be able to come in and do this. And you can also ask that your school, their child's school, gives you a report. There's something that we're doing in our school. The certain people, you know, year group heads, go online, check, and then post the names of all the children who have not done their work. And more often than not, you find that the parents are, oh my goodness, I did not know that my child had XYZ to do. So we can do that as well. If the school is not doing, ask that they do it. They give you an update. As my child, if the child this week had 10 assignments, has he done the 10? Did he do 8? He didn't do XYZ. Or, you know, you don't need all the details. You just need to know. So ask for it. But ask the child to also keep a log so that you are able to compare with the log with the feedback that you're getting from the school. You have to ask for that feedback.
That's a very good point. So the platform that our school uses is that I get a notification every time an assignment has been published or assignment was given, when it's due, when they've turned it in. I don't check all the time, but every now and then when I do a spot check, I'm able to see, oh, assignment is due on this date, or it will tell me something is past due. I can say, what's going on here? So we just have to do, we have to do a lot more. Okay, I want to ask one more quick question before we see it, everybody watching, if you have questions now, you can start dropping them in the comment section so that I will start reading through and reading it out to our guests. I wanted to ask, so one of the things that we're also hearing much more is an increase in tension and parents and children butting heads a lot at this time. And this is especially for children who maybe were already not getting on very well with their parents, and everybody had school and work to hide behind. Now they are suddenly stuck at home 24/7. So some people are coming to literal blows. What can we do for those situations? I mean, I know there's no magic wand, but what would you advise?
Well, one of the things I said to parents, in my school, I keep sending them messages. One of the things I told them from the onset is, you and your child has to come to some agreement. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I'll get a drink.
Are you okay? Do you need water?
Yes, I'm getting.
Okay.
We'll
hold on. We'll hold on for you. It's okay. Pause. In the meantime, while we wait for her to sip some water, you can start dropping in your questions so that she can get to them after we answer this question on parents and children's dynamics, for those not getting along at all at this time. Okay. Welcome back.
Okay, I feel better. All right.
Good. Okay.
Thank you. Unfortunately, some of us have done parenting by a kind of parenting where we avoid all the hard talk.
Yeah.
We're there together, but we say nothing. And then, of course, like you said, everybody is busy. You go to school, you go to work, and we come back, and then we all say, is everything all right? Yes, fine.
Okay, bye.
But we're in the same space now. So there has to be some talk. There has to be some agreements. I'll go back to the structure thing. You see, when we agree on a structure, if you have not done it, and then you suddenly walk in and see your child lounging somewhere, is that how you're doing your lesson? Is that how you're doing the child, especially if it's a teenager, an adolescent, is going to resent it. You say it the first time, say it the second time. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing that. The child is going to say that.
Yeah.
Or start giving you a silent treatment. So before we go into anything, if you haven't done it, sit down with your children. Sit down with your child. Sit down with that 2-3-year-old and say, this is a situation now. Even you as a worker, if you're still working from home or doing at least part of your work from home, let everybody understand that we should all have our spaces. This is where I do my work. I have grown-up children, and so, but everybody has their own space. At a point, I had to move my workstation into my room because I wasn't comfortable where I was. So let everybody have their own space. You need to respect that. It doesn't matter what the child's age is.
Right.
This designates your own. This is my space. This is my corner. This is my workstation. Every child should have that. Every parent should have that. Not that I was sitting there, or you are disturbing me, or this. Anybody will resent that. So discussions about this is what we're doing. These are the structures that we're going to have to adhere to, and everybody's space. If you brought into someone's space, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
You're going to have a problem. And these are children that over time, you have not been getting into their spaces. Now you're getting into their space. And they're not going to find it funny. They are not going. I mean, some will take it. But again, the fact that they are confined, you know, everybody is stressed in a very different way.
In different ways. Yeah.
There's something I said to parents over the Easter weekend. I said to them, no work, no assignments, no school work, no online learning for 4 days. And he said, but we want to catch up. I said, no, you catch up from Tuesday. You got to let your hair down. In fact, I said something jokingly to them, and incidentally, some did it. I said, find something you can do together as a family. I said, do some Zumba dance together. Do something. Right. Let off steam. It's not about go ahead. Have you done your work? No. Watch a movie together.
Do something non-academic.
Do something non-academic.
Yes.
And I remember I said at the beginning, you can't allow your child in front of a screen from morning till night. It's a no-no. It's a no-no. So a lot of those things, emotions being frayed emotions and all that, it's just a little thing. Everybody will spark. Everybody will go up in there will be a lot of combustion in flames, and that's not, and yet you're confined to the same place. That's not what we want.
Okay, great. Let me see if we have some questions. We have a question here saying, what about children of low-income earners? I'm not quite sure what that question relates to, so I would ask the person to please add some more clarity to that question.
But I may say something about that, Yetty. You know, in Lagos State, there are radio programs.
Okay.
So, yes, radio programs and TV programs.
Okay.
If that is what a parent can afford, ensure that your child is taking part in it. Okay. And the radio programs have subjects. It's not just a matter of, okay, be sure that your child is taking part. If you have to buy batteries for that radio program. If you have to go and pick up a little radio, which is, I mean, usually these days we do not have radios. If you need to go and buy a radio that will give you access, do that. It's the same. I mean, this is what is, these are the things that you can do. There are programs, there are radio programs, there are TV programs. So if a radio program is starting at 10 o'clock, ensure that your child at 10 o'clock, when you get back, when you want to speak to the child, you ask. There was a radio program that they taught English and maths today and social studies. Tell me what you learned.
What you learned. Okay.
Tell me what, yes. So make that provision. And again, it's the same thing. It can't be done on a bed. It can't be done lounging on a couch. It can't be done in your nightwear. You can't be listening to that program and having your breakfast.
Yeah.
So the same thing.
Discipline. Yes. That's a very good point. And I think even we as parents, we're showing our children certain things at this time. So the same way with how we give ourselves structure, I think is rubbing off on the children. Are you sitting now at your desk and doing work? Do they see you get up and go for a walk, do something else? You know, I think that also helps the children model what it is that you are showing them. Because it's one thing to tell them, you know, don't be on screen all day. And then you are on the screen from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight. It's you know, children do what we do more than what we say. So I think that's important to keep in mind. Okay, we have another question here saying, can you give us the salient points on PowerPoint? What we will do is this Insta Live we've done now, we're going to share it as well on our Insta story and on the IGTV page. So you can always rewatch it. So that, I think that answers that question. Yes, let me see if we have any more questions. Taking time. Thank you for the words, for the comments. Okay, so people are just, you know, also summarizing the things you've been saying. Do things as a family. Yes, bond as well at this time. Everything is not academic learning only. So I'll share one example with you too, Ma. So one of the things that we do is we watch Shark Tank, which is a show about investing on Netflix.
Okay.
So this is not academic at all. Yes, it's screen time, but it's quality screen time. We're talking about the businesses that they're presenting. We're talking about market business strategy, market capitalization, what it means when you ask for equity, deep conversations, and the kids are picking it up, and they're only 12 and 10. And we started this 2 or 3 years ago, and they love that show. So my point just being, learning doesn't always have to be only English, math, science, social studies. You know, there's so many other ways we can make it engaging, you know, as a family.
They can also do virtual tours.
Yes, those are nice.
Virtual tours are wonderful. Last week, our students went on a virtual tour to Kenya. You know, and
to Kenya.
Yes, there's a wood carving and some Kenyan dance and all that. I mean, there's so many things that one can do.
With so technology.
Yes, the technology. They can visit museums around the world. They can visit, you know, heritage sites around the world. There's so much that can be done. So, I mean, yes, and that can be done as a family because that will help in bonding.
Bonding as well.
Yes, yes.
Somebody here is saying that something as small as learning about your family tree. That is a great idea. Brilliant idea, Dr. Mimuna. Brilliant idea. A lot of baking and cooking, yes, that, you know.
I remember
learning those basics.
Yeah, I remember saying, teach, you know, your child can learn how to tie gele at this time. Your child can learn a native meal. And put that in a structure. Over the weekend, I mean, we don't have the parties to go to again. All our we are putting it somewhere. So Saturday morning, do something. Dance. Do some cooking. Do some, and you know, even if you don't know how to cook your native food, I can assure you, check on YouTube, you will find it.
You'll find it, indeed.
You will find it. And you put it up and everybody is doing something about it, even if you don't have the ingredients. But this is what, so this is what we can do, this is what, and I mean, if you do that for an hour, it's, you know, the truth is that what the children will be gaining, the memories that they will be making at this time, 10 years down the road, 20 years down, you'll be surprised how much.
Yes.
So let's not give them, when they think about this period, because it is a very trying period for children. They're used to going out, they're used to hanging out with their friends, they're used to so many things, and now they are stuck with some adults who do not understand them, and they're just, so, I mean, it's so we need to do things together.
To help them make memories.
Not going to the parties anymore.
Yes. We have somebody here saying that their child's school just uploads educational resources from YouTube for their 40 minutes twice a week homeschooling. I have access to all these resources myself, so I am unwilling to pay the school fees. What do you say to that, Ma?
Well. I think you should express your concerns to the school. Let the school know your concerns. I mean, these are resources people have access to, which is, I mean, I'm not going to be talking about, this is not about talking about Corona School, but in Corona schools, you have to do some actual learning. You have to do, the teacher has to do some actual teaching. It's not going to, not all live classes, but the teacher can upload a lesson where the teacher, I mean, I'm a teacher now and I have taught a lesson, just record the lesson and upload that lesson. Yes, any other thing, any other resource will be a backup of an addition to what the teacher has tried to explain. But if it is just upload, you know, take it, so your concerns, discuss that with the school. The truth is that some people may not even be sure of what to do. So if you express your concerns, not in a threatening way, but thinking that, you know, can we do this? Can we, you know, that kind of a thing. Then there are more, the way you present it, that I think we can do this. But if you go butting in and saying, what are you people doing? You're just giving me these YouTube things. I can get it myself. I'm not going to pay. chances
That's
are they're
not.
not going to listen to you. So, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a learning period for everybody. We haven't gone this way before.
Yes.
So I
Awesome.
assume that if you discuss it, you know, in a very nice way, they would consider it, they would try it, and I'm sure that your children will be the better for it.
Thank you so much, ma. Another question here says, what worries you most about online learning? Or what is the biggest adjustment to make, ma?
The biggest adjustment, wow. The biggest adjustment to make is to say to yourself, today is not the same as yesterday. Things have changed. You have to accept. I know we're all wishing for yesterday, but wishes, if wishes were horses, Abby,
Pigs will
beggars will
fly,
fly.
Abby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
since pigs are not going to fly, know that this is what we have today. And what you have today, make the most of it. It was one of the first things I said. How do we make the most of this? We need to sit down. When I train teachers on classroom management, this is one of the things I say to them. The first thing I say is articulate what happens in a regular class and then come up with procedures and processes to take it. So look at your family. How is the setting? What is the dynamics in your family? And see how you can structure your life, structure the children's life around what is happening now. You cannot use yesterday. You cannot use, so you need to understand your dynamics and work with that dynamic. Work with it and create a structure. It's something you won't go wrong in. But if you just react to things, you're not going to have. If for instance, in some places of work, maybe they're saying now you can come in, government says work starts at 9, ends at 3 or something. I know all the different things that was not there before. Again, is a dynamics that has changed. So maybe you have to leave home and you have to come back later, earlier than you usually do. Maybe you're not leaving home at such. Maybe you need to, in fact, we're talking about electricity. Maybe, we need to run the gen. Maybe, so think about all that. Sit down with your children and say, these are the dynamics of our home and the situation we have. And we're going to build a structure around it. Get ideas from them. And you will not go wrong. And if you need to change at any point, please change it.
Yes. I like that. We have to be so flexible at this time and understand that we're all going through something we could never have foreseen or predicted. So we all have to adjust.
Adjust.
Yes. Fantastic. Wow. I'm learning so much myself. Thank you so much, ma. We have a comment here. This is a funny one. Dr. Memuna says they have heard you mention dancing like 5 times. That's so you should please prepare for our post-COVID-19 survival party. And Ashoebi is quarantine green and pandemic white.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. I have a question here. Somebody is saying, what about children whose parents or guardians don't have interest in them? And these same children cannot afford online learning.
Well. Remember, there was one of the things I said, that people have gone through for years without really connecting with their children. That's the truth. Whether they are day students or they are little children, early in the morning, everybody's in a hurry. They put them in school, then there's after school, and everybody comes back in the night, goes to bed, and it continues. On a Saturday, the children may not be in school, but the parents have the parties of so and so to attend. For those who are Christians on Sundays, some people start Sunday from 5 o'clock. They have workers meeting. They have all that. So they've never really had any time to bond with their children. The truth of the matter is, you're in that space with them now. You have to make the most of it. You better start faking it until you make it.
I like that.
You have these children with you.
Yeah.
They are there. There's no school to ship them to.
Yeah.
There's no hangouts to send them to. There's no whatever to send them to. They are there with you. And for parents who have found themselves in that kind of situation, for your own peace of mind, for your own sanity, you better start liking them. You better start liking them because they are going nowhere.
They are
you
yours.
better start liking them. They are yours. You're stuck with them for the foreseeable future. You better start liking them. There are certain things we say to ourselves. So sometimes you need to psych yourself and say, this is what I found. Like I said previously, we can't be wishing for yesterday.
Yeah.
We can't get it back. We have today.
We have to move
forward for tomorrow. So we make use of today and we plan for tomorrow. But if we wish for yesterday from here till kingdom come, we're not going to get it.
Not going to get it.
We're not going to get it, and we'll all be miserable.
Yes.
We'll all be miserable.
We will be. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit very quickly and talk to you about social media. And, you're the principal of a secondary school. So you have children who are using social media, want to be on social media, TikTok, everything. What is your guidance in terms of, from a school's perspective, what do you allow, don't allow? What do you recommend, no recommend in terms of children's usage of social media? And as a school, do you expose your children at all to social media from a school's perspective? So can you answer it from those two
angles? Well, the truth is, when you are out, when you regulate on one, another one comes up.
Yes.
And now it's TikTok.
Yes.
Snapchats. And they leave Facebook and IG and all that.
For we old people.
For the old fuddy-duddies. So they keep moving. But one of the things we keep talking to our students about is digital footprints. You need to understand that there's something called digital footprints. Yes. What do you want your digital footprint to look like?
Right.
When Snapchat was really the rave, we got some students, Snapchat at some point had, you could actually view somebody's, where the person is, in that person's bedroom.
Yes,
wherever.
location,
everything, Yeah. We had to get some students who understood how to do it, to actually do it and project it
on the screen.
On the big screen in school. Okay. A lot of them were shocked.
Wow.
And say, now someone is having this kind of access to your privacy.
Yeah.
And once this person has this access to your privacy, the person has put it on the World Wide Web, which is unforgiving, which you can never delete.
Take it back.
You can't take it back. So we had to, practically shock them. That this is, so when somebody is, it's such a wonderful feature. But can you imagine so when they saw that, so we keep talking about pause before you post. Pause before you post. Because the truth is, you legislate against this, another one comes out. So there should be, keep talking to children about an overriding understanding of what the internet world is. Your digital footprints can never be erased. So you determine what that. We talk about algorithms.
Yes.
I'd give them an example. I said I like shoes. So because I check websites that have shoes, I may not buy, but just to, and
just
whenever
browse.
I go on, it keeps
You'll start following you around.
I follow you around. So I said, what do you want to follow you around? If somebody introduces something unwholesome, and you go to it once, it follows you around.
Yeah. Do
you want it to follow you around? Yeah. And sometimes you think, we forget that, yes, they are technologically this, they are that, children. But the fact is that they are still children.
Yes. Very true.
Their decision-making abilities are not as refined as that of, and of course, whatever their friends do means so much to them. So I said, what do you want to pop? You know, I said, there are certain things that will pop up on my screen that I will be shocked.
Yeah.
But the things that I like, that once in a while I know so many things that I like, and they keep popping up. So I keep explaining that. It's about, you know, these things, the algorithms and all the things. I mean, those who understand these things will tell you. So the little we understand, we let them, they know. If you go to this site, the next time you're online, it will pop up. Right. Some likely things. So be careful about what is following your shadow.
That's very true.
So these are conversations that parents, schools need to keep making. I do not believe in the legislation of don't do this. Let them be able to take decisions that are informed decisions. The reason why I will not try this is because my digital footprint will be affected, the algorithms will be affected, the all the, you know, the things that it will be affected. And I'm pausing before I post. I'm pausing before I check. Yes. If somebody, you know, I need to, you know, need to think. But to say, oh, yeah, but as a school, our firewalls prevent social media.
Okay.
That is a given. They prevent social media. But, you know, they will go home. It's a boarding school. They will go home. So just before they go home, we keep talking about these things.
About it.
So that it's ringing in their ears.
Their mind. Yes,
ringing,
very important.
So that it helps in their decision making. And so you now, as a parent that is faced with this, you need to have these conversations. You need to remind them. You need to help them fine-tune their decision-making abilities.
Yes. Very, very true. Wow. Thank you so much. We'll soon, I think we have us about a minute to go. We have a comment here saying to talk to our children that all the information they get, they have to verify before they forward it. If it's not true, they should discard it. And that's a very true point. Not everything you see online is true. Not everything you see is accurate. So how do you verify? You must learn that as well. Yes. Yeah. Did you want to add anything to that?
I mean, that is really, really profound. Yeah. So decision-making abilities, they've got to make decisions, and you can't shield them from those decisions. So we need to fine-tune. We need to give them the tools to make the right decision. So this comment is a brilliant one. Reflect on it. Think about it first before you do anything about it. And the more they do it, the better they become at making the right decisions. We can't live their lives for them. We can't.
Yes. And I think that's probably my biggest lesson in general for young adults and young children is learn the art of pausing. They're a very trigger happy generation. Any which way they are feeling, they want to put it on social media. If they woke up and they are annoyed, they put it. If they are sad, they put it. If everything, they just put it online. So to force them to pause and to think, why am I sharing this? Who am I sharing it with? And how is it going to affect me or the world? Those are my own three that I keep drumming into the children's heads. Why, what, and how will it affect you? So can you wrap up for us? If you were to give us one big takeaway from this lovely time with you this evening, what would you want every parent who tuned in to remember during this period of online learning and lockdown?
Create a structure.
Yes.
Create a structure. Fine-tune the structure when there is a need, but be sure you have a structure and follow that structure as a parent. Be true to that structure. Don't say to a child, you have a structure, and say, no, come, leave that one, come and do. Be consistent.
Yeah, be consistent. Be consistent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ma. If people want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Where can they find me? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they can. I go on Instagram. Yes.
Okay.
I post a few things on Instagram. From time to time. On LinkedIn, On LinkedIn,
Okay.
my name, Chinedum Oluwadamilola. I mean,
Okay,
you can send me a message. Yes.
Okay.
It's just
All
my
right.
name. You can send me a message on LinkedIn.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. This is going to shut down in 10 seconds. So thank you so much for your time, Ma. I really appreciate it. We have learned so much. And for everybody that was on, thank you for participating. And we're also going to share this on our story so you can still watch it as well. Have a lovely evening, Ma. Thank you. Bye-bye.